All right, welcome back to the Chevrolet Silverado broadcast booth here in Marion, Virginia. Marion Scarlet Hurricanes playing host to the Richlands Blue Tornado. We've been having all kinds of technical difficulties here tonight, but we're back with you here at halftime as the halftime clock rolls down with about 6 minutes to go till the halftime ends and the start of the third quarter. Richlands leads this game 27-7, and they've just really had their way with the Marion Scarlet Hurricanes so far.
You know, on both sides of the ball, really, Richlands hasn't been able to put much of Marion hasn't been able to put much of a defensive stop on Richlands, and really on offense they haven't been able to get going either. That run game is really what got them here, and like we said earlier in the broadcast, I'm not sure if Marion has positive rushing yards. Really, if you take that one big pass play off the board for Marion, we're looking at a shutout.
We'll try to get some stats for you as the half winds down here. We don't have very much success going on with our other Hogo team in action tonight. Let's turn to Travis Terry now for a Lowe's Home Improvement scoreboard update.
Yeah, the last word I got down in Galax was Galax had extended their lead to a 38-14 margin over Patrick Henry before half. So a lot of turnovers for Patrick Henry, kind of dooming them, and just the big play potential of Galax. They're just having their way with them right now.
Again, your score here in Marion, it's Richlands 27, Marion 7. Marion not able to show the ability to do anything, and Richlands just able to move the ball at will. Defensively, Richlands has played very good tonight also. It's just that front line of Richlands just really dominating the Scarlet Hurricanes. Let's take a minute to thank our sponsors of our broadcast tonight, and these sponsors have been with us almost the whole season. Abingdon Equipment Company, Big M Farm Service, Political Dogs Hot Dogs, Serber & Son, Glade Pharmacy, Carter's Pharmacy, your hometown pharmacy in Saltville, Virginia, and our Red Zone sponsor tonight, C&H Cattle Company.
Yeah, Travis, Terry, you had some pretty interesting stats about this game tonight.
Yeah, actually, I got them about every Hogo team that's in the playoffs, but for this game specifically, the two teams have matched up since 1947, 56 total times. Richlands leads the series with a whopping 41-15 edge over the Hurricanes. Marion's last win was in 2001, 18-13 playoff win, and that was after losing to Richlands in the 14-13, so a pair of tight games back in 2001. And since then, Richlands has won 13 straight against the Canes, and that includes 2 more playoff wins. So Richlands really dominating this series all time.
Doesn't look like it's going to be much different tonight either.
Well, yeah. Richlands just carries a great football tradition, a great athletic tradition altogether over there, and they've really put it on display tonight. They're a good-looking football team.
Very.
What you see out of most high school quarterbacks in this area.
Yeah, certainly not jittery back there, but I really think that you got to contribute that to a good offensive line. That offensive line's really getting a good push against this Marion line.
Marion only down 3 scores, so they're definitely not out of this game yet. If they can come out in the second half and make some noise, Richlands will be receiving the ball to start the second half, so the Marion defense will really have to come out and get something done to get back in this game. But Richlands had a pretty sizable lead on Abingdon at halftime and allowed the Falcons to come back and win that football game. So,
you know, I guess the thing I'm confused about is with Marion on their defense. They run that 3-man front. And like you said, they kind of stayed complacent there and didn't change anything. They were running that zone defense, and they're getting picked apart. And as you know, we watch a lot of college football. When you run a zone defense, if you're not getting pressure on the quarterback, it's really easy to pick apart a zone defense.
Right, that's what Richlands has done. They've had several inside slant patterns, just hitting that underneath pass, and they've done what they had to do. Richlands having only punted 1 time so far, I believe, in this game.
Yep.
So the Richlands Blue Tornado coming back on the field, getting loosened up here. It's a cold night here in Marion. Temperatures down in the 20s. Not as cold as it has been the past couple of Friday nights. We're a little bit cozier tonight than what we have been, thanks to the Chevrolet Silverado broadcast booth here on the side of the hill in Marion. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back to Marion as we get ready to start the second half. Your score, Richlands 27, Marion 7.
During this commercial break, we'd like to thank our new playoff sponsor, CH Cattle Company, located in Glade Springs, Virginia, where the beef begins. CH Cattle, a primary sponsor here on Pogo Radio Network.
Take it easy, take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own wheels drive you crazy. Lighten up while you still can. Don't even try to understand.
Welcome back to Marion Senior High School, Marion, Virginia. It's the second round of the 2A West Virginia High School League state playoffs. At halftime, your scores: Richlands Blue Tornado 27, the homestanding Marion Scarlet Hurricanes 7. We're coming to you from the Chevrolet Silverado broadcast booth here on the side of the hill at Marion Senior High School.
You know, I don't think either one of us had this game going this way.
Now, we had talked about our pregame predictions earlier this week at our production meeting, and I believe, Corey, you were leaning towards Richlands to win this game, or did you think Marion was going to win it?
When I was asked about what I would put the spread at, I had Marion favored, but I thought Richlands would give them a good game, if not win the game, but I didn't think it would be this round. I thought it would be a little bit closer.
Yeah, so far it's definitely been a one-sided game. The halftime clock rolling down under 1 minute. 27-7 is score. Richlands is out on the field warming up. The officials are out on the field. We've yet to see the Scarlet Hurricanes come back out and take the field yet. The locker room doors are still shut, so it's hard to tell what Coach Joey Carroll's going over in there tonight. We know they've got a lot of work to do to get back in this ball game, but still only down 3 scores. And plenty of time if they can come out and stop Richlands on this opening drive. Richlands will get the ball to start the second half. Let's check back in with Travis Terry if he's got a Lowe's Home Improvement scoreboard update.
No update for me as of now. Actually, I haven't checked in a while. But last I heard, Galax up 38-14 over Patrick Henry. That game's got to be nearing half about now. And also, last I heard, Hayside and Covington were knotted up at 14. So,
wow.
Good game way out there.
Pretty good matchup there.
Yeah.
That's pretty. You know, it's odd. You mentioned that Marion's not out on the field. We are at 0 here for halftime. And, you know, a lot of times teams will send out the kickers and, you know, stuff like that to kind of get warmed up. We haven't seen one Marion player out of the locker room. And we're looking at time to kick off here at the second half. I think they put a little bit more time on the clock there, but
yeah, the home scoreboard, they have put 3 more minutes on the clock to give Marion, I guess, a little bit of time to get on the field, but I imagine it won't be long now till the officials go out there and wrestle them out there. I mean, Richlands, they just had to sit outside. They had to sit out here in this cold at halftime. The locker room, if you're not familiar with Marion, the visiting locker rooms are back up at the schoolhouse, and the football field actually sits down in the bottom of the swag, so they would have a long way to go to get to the locker room. They just elected to stay down field level. The halftime clock has expired, and we have still yet to see the Marion Scarlet Hurricane take the football field.
Not a single player or coach has come back out here, so
we now see an official heading towards the locker room, Marion, which is quite a ways across on the other side of the baseball field here, but the officials are going to go see if they can't get somebody out here and get this game started, get this second half back underway. We got one more Hoagee District team still yet to play, and that's George Wythe, as they'll be taking on Auburn. What's your outlook on that game, Corey?
it's kind of like last week. I think we all collectively picked Fort Chiswell to win that game against Auburn, but I guess we didn't know that Fort Chiswell's front runner was out. And now without Trey Skeens, George Wythe has run behind Skeens all year. He's a 3-time HOGO Player of the Week for us. And I think without Trey Skeens, it's going to be very hard to beat anybody. And Auburn's not a pushover team. They really played Fort Chiswell tough last week. So if I had to take a pick right now, it would have to be Auburn.
Yeah, I think on paper, Auburn looks better right now. Like,
football team. They've now made the playoffs 2 years. If I remember this correctly, like a 36-game losing streak before he took over.
it was up there.
This halftime clock.
And tell those guys they had to be out on the field. I'm not sure what Virginia.
Stripes on the pants, blue helmets with a white war stripe on top. Marion dressed in all scarlet pants. Blue Tornado leading.
Any chance we see some kind of trickery here?
It's a possibility. Looks like Marion's lined up in the regular kickoff formation, though, but we'll see what happens. Here's the run-up, the kick. He's going to kick it deep. Going to be fielded at the 20-yard line, up to the 25. Going to let the blocker set up across the 30 to the 35. Going to get almost out to the 40-yard line. Ball fumbles. Marion recovers.
Got it.
Marion got the break they needed. The good return was on by Richlands, but now the Scarlet Hurricanes are going to take over. 1st and 10.
Did they give it to? Yep.
They give it to Marion.
Wow. Right there at the end, he kept his forward progress going. And I couldn't tell who it was, but a Marion player just came in and ripped the ball out. And almost a scoop and score there.
Almost the returner for Richlands had about 16 yards on the return and was fighting for more, but that's going to fumble the ball, give it 1st and 10 for Marion on the Richlands 36-yard line.
Yeah, they were going to start almost up at the 40 right there, so Richlands really would have had some good field position. So not the onside kick, but they got the ball back.
Here's the handoff to Wagner. He tries to run to the near side of the field. Nothing doing there. He's going to be wrapped up in the backfield. Going to lose a couple yards. They may give him forward progress here. They're going to say he got back to the line of scrimmage, so 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, still nothing doing here on that run game. Richlands' offensive or defensive line is really still getting the push in there. We saw Wagner try to bounce it around the edge there, and somebody waiting for you on the edge too. So this defensive scheme that Richlands is playing is really working to their favor against the run tonight.
Marion trips to the far side of the field. One receiver near side now. There's Leffler in the shotgun. There's the snap. Tries to set up the screen play. Going to pick up some positive yardage this time. Going to get about 4, maybe 5 on the play. That's going to bring up a 3rd down and 6, maybe 7. We'll call it 3rd and 7.
Boy, that's a dangerous screen pass right there. That's almost all the way across the field he had to throw the ball. And Richlands looks like they had a defensive back going to try to jump that route. And at the last second, Marion got an extra wide receiver over there to throw the block. Like you said, got some positive yardage here. This is a big 3rd down for Marion after getting that turnover.
Leffler in the shotgun, brings a man in motion. Hands off to Wagner. Wagner straight up the middle. He's going nowhere. He's going to lose a yard again. 4th down and call it 8 for Marion. And surely you've got to go for it here. You're down 27-7, 10 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. So Marion will be going for it. Offense, not even any question. They're just going to stay right here on the field.
Yeah, I think this is a no-brainer here. You got to go for it, and I think we can narrow it down even further than that. I'm pretty sure we're going to see the ball in the air here. And something we haven't seen out of the Hogo teams this year on defense, Richlands just swarms to the ball.
Leffler and Wagner in the backfield, 2 receivers either side. Leffler back to throw. He's got a man open, but hangs the ball up there. Good defense by the Richlands defender. The ball hung up there just a little bit too long. Gave the defender time to break the pass up. Richlands is going to take over 1st and 10.
He had a man open out there. I can't tell who that is, and actually he's still on the ground out there. I'm not sure.
Whoever the intended receiver here, was, he's grabbing his ankle. He's injured on the play.
I believe it was Raleigh Blevins. I wonder if it was a re-injury from whatever he sustained last week.
It really could be. That's a tough loss for Marion if that's the case here too, and he's still down. And it looked like Leffler had him open at one point in time, and the safety came over just in time to swat the ball away. But a good play call for Marion as far as that goes. But either way, Richlands takes over on their own 35-yard line.
Yeah, I think if Leffler could have put a little more zip on that pass, it seemed to hang up on him at the tail end there and just gave the defender time to get over and break it up.
You know, we're at a tough angle over here. I'm not sure he would have caught that ball in bounds either. He was really close to the sidelines, and both guys were in the air too, so not really sure from the angle that we have. And he's being helped off the field now, so not a good sign for Marion.
We still can't tell for absolute certain, but I believe that is Riley Blevins that they're going to be helping back to the sideline here. So that would be a big loss for Marion.
You know, it's been a tough year for injuries in the Hoga-Heagy this year. You know, we saw Northwood take a early Hoga-Heagy lead, winning their first 6 games, knocking off Marion and ending that rivalry jinx they had against Chilhowie, but losing their 2 starting running backs. So their big back, Blake Olinger, earlier in the year, and then Eric Dome being a little wobbled up later in the year. And now we see Marion possibly losing Riley Evans, and then last week Trey Skeen's going out for George Wythe. So tough run in the playoffs for some of our Hogo teams here.
And we can confirm now that is Riley Blevins was the injured player on that particular play. So Richlands takes over, 1st and 10 from their own 35-yard line. There's the snap, the handoff inside, going to get up to about the 38-yard line, but we got a flag on the play. I believe this is going to be a holding against Richlands. Let's wait for the call. Sideline warning on Marion. So the play stands. That's a sideline warning on Marion.
I think we're going to see Richlands run the ball quite a bit more here in the second half. And We saw the 2 running back set, the split back shotgun set that we saw in the first half. I think we'll see quite a bit more of that here in the second half as they try to just run some of this clock down here.
That was a gain of 4 on that play, so it's going to be 2nd down and 6. Yeah, Richlands getting in no hurry. They're just all standing, looking towards the sideline for the play call. Here comes the flashcards. Everybody checks their wristbands. Again, they've got that 2-back set back there in the backfield.
Going to have a flag here. This possibly.
And now this is a delay of game. Yep.
You know, and that's something you got to watch out for in this system too. When you don't have a play clock in a system like this, that can really come back to bite you, because we can stand there and we can look at those play cards all day, but if you don't know how much time's on the clock there, you really can't stand there too long and look at your wristband too long, Travis.
Right. I know schools can't really afford to put in these clocks. That's a big expense, but they come in handy. If I'm not mistaken, Patrick Henry may be the only Hogo school we go to that's got the play clocks.
I think Chilhowie has them now. Does Chilhowie have the play clocks?
I'm not sure, actually.
So we got some flags down on this play here. That was a pitch back to number 31, Zeke Vance. He picked up the 5 yards lost, but there's a flag on this play also.
Got another injured Marion Scarlet Hurricane down here too, and is that Wagner?
Might have been, but he is back up on his feet now. So let's see what this penalty is. Appears to be against. Yep, this time it is going to be a holding against Richlands. So that's going to back them up even more. It's going to make this a 2nd and what, about 22?
Yeah.
No, they got the 5-yard penalty for the delay of game, so this should be a 2nd and 25.
It depends on where the spot of that foul is. I think that may have been behind the line where he started that. That's
okay, so it's going to be about 2nd and 18, it looks like.
I'm sorry, in front of the line of scrimmage is where that was. A little bit further down where he got that penalty.
So spot foul there. So 2nd and 18 from the 26-yard line for Richlands.
Looks like Marion has gone to a defensive set here. They've brought up a couple more linebackers.
Michaels back to throw. Got a man open across the middle again. Receiver's number 1. He's going to get the ball at the 40-yard line, but he fumbles.
Got it.
And Marion recovers. That's the 2nd turnover in the half by Richlands. So Marion will take over an offense. They get some more new life.
That's another one of those quick slants that the 2 defensive backs for Marion's really got confused on, and both of them went with the out receiver. The linebacker had to come up and make a tackle, and he just jerked the ball away from him.
Rivers Michaels hit Caden Mullins across the middle. Looked like he had a good game going, but again, he kept on digging, turned the ball loose, and Marion takes over 1st and 10. They're already in Richlands territory. They're going to be at the 38-yard line.
Definitely got to see something different out of Marion here, though.
Leffler takes the snap, going to pitch to Wagner. Again, nothing doing. He's going to get up to about the 35-yard line. So at least positive yardage that time, but not what we expect to see out of it when Sam Wagner gets the ball. 2nd down and 7.
Definitely not the same running game we've seen all year from Marion. But we have to attribute that to that Richlands defensive line. They're getting the push there and forcing him to the outside. And as we saw in a lot of the games that we covered this year, Sam Wagner's a between-the-tackles guy. I mean, he's more or less going to run you over than he's going to run around you. And that's just not happening against this Richlands defensive line.
Leffler and Wagner in the backfield. Going to bring a man in motion. Leffler takes the snap. Going to look back to his life. Tried to set up a screen pass. Nothing there. The Richlands defenders got back there in a hurry. He just had to turn around and throw the ball.
Boy, that was a really good setup play, though. If he could have got it to the receiver there was nothing but daylight in front of him. Good thought process there, but you got to execute that play. Now it brings up another 3rd and long, and you're obviously still in the 2-down territory, but as we've seen all night, Marion's not done well in this situation.
Same formation, Leffler and Wagner in the backfield. 3rd down and 7. Leffler takes the snap, looks towards Garrison, going to throw it his way towards the corner of the end zone. Garrison's down there. Defended well by the Richlands defender. Again, the ball just a little bit underthrown by Leffler. He would have suited him to put a little more under it. 4th down upcoming for Marion.
Yeah, honestly, we could have had a holding call on that Marion offensive line. One of the defensive ends made it into the backfield. Looked like he was held up, and I think he was wanting a flag there. But either way, you're right. He's got to put a little bit more air under that ball. Give his receiver a chance. That was a very easy play for the defensive back there.
4 receivers set now for Marion. 3 to the far side of the field, 1 near side. There's the snap. Leffler going to roll to his right. He's in trouble. Going to throw it. Got a receiver there. Oh, hit him right in the hands beyond the first down stick, but he couldn't hold on. I believe that was Garrison over there, and he couldn't hold on to the football. So Richlands takes over on downs. Richlands turns the ball over twice. Marion's yet to make them pay for it. 27-7, 7:36 remaining in the third quarter.
You nailed it there. That was a great pass, but I think what confused him is Leffler threw it right by a linebacker for Richlands, and he threw his hands up, and as he threw his hands up, I think the wide receiver just kind of lost track of the ball, but man, it hit him right in the hands. He's got to have that. That would have been a huge first down for Marion.
Good call for Marion that time, though, to roll Leffler out of the pocket as quickly as they did and give him an opportunity to unload the ball.
Absolutely.
So first down now for Richlands. River Michaels in the backfield. There's the handoff. Marion defense is right there to stop him at the line of scrimmage for no gain.
You know, it looks like Marion's gone to almost a 5-2 set. I think what they've done is they've brought up their outside linebackers and put them on the defensive line there, and it's obviously made a difference in stopping the Richlands running game. But you almost think it's too little too late. You know, they should have done something like this in the first half and kind of cheated them up. They still have 2 linebackers that are playing off the ball, but you've also got that option to blitz those guys or drop them back into that middle zone coverage. Looks like they've gone to man on the corners there.
Second down and 10 for Richlands from their own 36-yard line. Michaels in the backfield. He's got his back there with him in Brandon Waldron. There's the pitch to Waldron. Waldron to the far side of the field, and the Scarlet Hurricanes are there. They're swallowing him up. He's going to lose a yard. This time it's going to bring up third down and 11.
Good coverage there on the end. Marion really took the corner and had their assignments right, got to the pitch man and tracked him down from behind before he could get to the sideline for a loss of yardage there. So seeing a little bit different defense from Marion, but you got to wonder why they didn't go to this in the first half.
If you're Richlands now, though, you've got this big lead. Do you test it to see if you've lured Marion to sleep by running the ball? Try to throw it out on the edges here. They've got 2 receivers to the far side of the field, 1 near. They are going to throw it. There it is across the middle. Oh, had his receiver right in the hands at the 50-yard line, and he couldn't hang on. That was number 3, Austin Atkinson. I believe that's the first time he's been thrown to tonight. Couldn't hang on to the ball. Again, that inside slant was wide open.
Boy, and if he could have hit that slant, he had a man to block in front of him, and I think he would have been gone. 31 was well downfield and in good position on his defensive back there. So we could have seen a big play right there, but good defensive play by Marion, good defensive stop. Going to force them into a punt here.
Here's the punt. It's a nice kick. Going to back the Marion return man up just a little bit. Going to field the ball at the 35-yard line. Gets a little bit of a block on the edge. Gets up to the 40, and that's where Marion will take over. First and 10. Got a little extracurricular activity going on. Got Joey Carroll fired up on the sidelines, hoping to get a penalty. It's not going to happen. Marion takes over first and 10 from their own 39-yard line.
Yeah, we've seen in some of these games when they get up to this point, it gets a little chippy. We saw it at George Wythe last week. Got a little chippy, and those two are rivals, and maybe not as big a rivalry here as what George Wythe Rural Retreat would be, but you've definitely got that motive, I guess is what we could say. It could get that way. That's something that we got to keep an eye on, and hopefully they can keep it in control.
Leffler takes the snap. Got a man open across the middle. It's Garrison. He hits him, gets up to the 45-yard line of Richlands. So good gain on first down for Marion. 5:52 remaining in the third quarter. 27-7, Richlands has the lead.
Yeah, that looked like a play out of Richlands' playbook there. It kind of went to the slot receiver across the middle there in that slant pattern. They had it wide open all day, and as long as they can protect Leffler, I think he's going to have that pass.
Leffler and Wagner in the backfield. 1 receiver near side, 3 to the top of the field. Going to pitch it to Wagner. Nothing doing. He's going to be wrapped up for a loss again. This time he's going to lose 5 yards on the play. Going to bring up 2nd and 15.
This is just not what we're used to in seeing when Wagner touches the ball. We've been so used to seeing this year when he gets the ball, it's just fierce. He just looks for somebody to hit, and as soon as he gets the ball tonight, it just seems like Richlands' defense swarms around him. He's had nowhere to go.
3 receivers near side this time. There's the handoff to Leffler. He's going to roll to his left, look downfield. He's got a man open if he get it to him. Again, defended very well by Richlands.
That's almost got to be pass interference there for Richlands. He's throwing his hands up. He's not looking back for the ball, but I guess as long as you're not having contact with the receiver, you can't really call pass interference on that play. We're at a bad angle on how that shows there. It kind of looked like pass interference from my view, but I guess that could go either way.
Is there a face guarding penalty in high school?
You know, I'm not sure. I don't know if
he's really not making any contact.
Right.
So there's the snap. Leffler going to roll right this time, looking for somebody. Just going to throw it away, nothing doing. Live to see 4th down, and Marion will take an opportunity here to, well, looks like they are going to punt.
Yeah, you're at the 45. Your offense really hadn't done anything. Your defense has kind of changed its pace and holding Richlands good. So I don't know. I think this is the right decision. You know, you're still only down 3 scores. If you play the field position game, maybe you can come out a winner here.
So Richlands return man standing back on his own 15-yard line. Good snap. There's the punt. That's a good kick. It's going to be fielded at about the 14. Brings it near side. Marion's down there to pick up the tackle. He's going to get up to about the 20-yard line, maybe to the 21, and that's where Richlands will take over, 1st and 10. 4:46 remaining in the third quarter. Your scores: the Richlands Blue Tornado 27, Marion Scarlet Hurricane 7. And I guess what's amazing about this Marion score right now is this is a Marion team that's averaging 38 points per game, and they haven't managed to get more than the 1 touchdown, and that was on a long, let's call it a busted defensive coverage by Richlands.
Yeah, you're right, and we've actually got an injured Scarlet Hurricane here, and it looked like he came in at the end of the play and may have took a helmet-to-helmet shot. He's been laying there pretty still ever since, so not sure who it is. We can't tell for the training staff, but
so we got an injury timeout on the field. Let's take it with them. Let's go to a quick commercial break as they tend to the player on the field. Again, your score for Marion: Richlands 27, Marion 7, 4:46 to go, third quarter.
Like us on Facebook, Hogo Game Day. Follow us on Twitter at Hogo Game Day. And check out our very own website, www.hogogameday.com. During this commercial break, we'd like to thank our new playoff sponsor, CH Cattle Company, located in Glade Springs, Virginia, where the beef begins. CH Cattle, the primary sponsor here on the Hogo Radio Network.
Take it easy, take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own wheels drive you crazy. Lighten up while you still can. Don't even try to understand.
Had a big play here. Taps on the handoff. He breaks loose. He's past the 50, down to about the 35, and he's knocked hard out of bounds by Riley Blevins. So that was a big-time hit by Riley.
Listen to our audio broadcast on your mobile device by downloading the Spreaker app through the Google Play Store for Android devices and on the App Store for iOS devices, and search for the Hoagie Heagie Network.
keep up with all the action in the Hogo.
But Marion's going to take over here on the 10-yard line, right in the red zone. That handoff to Wagner up the middle. There's a lot of Warriors in the backfield. Here comes Wagner around the edge, diving in. Touchdown.
Like us on Facebook, Hogo Game Day. Follow us on Twitter at Hogo Game Day. And check out our very own website, www.hogogameday.com.
Welcome back to Marion Senior High School, Marion, Virginia. It's round 2 of the 2A West Virginia High School League playoffs. Richlands Blue Tornado lead Marion 27-7, 4:46 remaining in the third quarter. Richlands has the ball, 1st and 10 from their own 22-yard line. Handoff goes up the middle, going to get up to about the 25. That's where they'll bring up 2nd down, and we'll call it about 8. We're coming to you from the Chevrolet Silverado broadcast booth here in Marion. It's a cold night out here watching the Scarlet Hurricanes. This game's kind of stabilized out a little bit here in the second half. Richlands couldn't do any wrong in the first half, but the Marion defense has really stepped it up.
Yeah, Marion's changed that defensive front, and it's made a heck of a difference, but seems like that draw play we've seen all night from Michaels is still working pretty well.
River Michaels takes the snap, going to throw off to his left. He's got a receiver out there. Good job by Marion to cover it up. No gain on the play. Going to bring up a 3rd down for Richlands.
Yeah, Marion's still covering those plays pretty well. That's a pretty common screen pass that we've seen from Richlands tonight, and Marion's just getting to the ball a little bit quicker, I think, but as far as the pressure on the quarterback, Marion's not really getting in there any better, but the rush game they've really slowed down and kind of forced them to that pass game.
The clock has not started. They've now run 2 plays without the clock running. Now they finally get it going again. That's that home cooking we talk about here at Marion.
Yeah.
Trying to save as much time as they can for when Marion gets the ball back. So 3 minutes, 50 seconds remaining third quarter, 27-7 Richlands. Michaels in the backfield by himself this time, 2 receivers each side. And they cannot call a delay of game penalty on Richlands, but they will.
Wow.
When the clock would not start, Richlands was waiting on the clock to start. Now they're going to call a delay of game penalty.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. That is definitely some home cooking.
Wow.
No clock running, and they're going to get a delay of game on them.
Well, the coaching staff for Richlands definitely fired up, and they've got every right to be, if you ask me, 3rd down and 11 now for Richlands. There's the snap. Michael's back to throw. He's got a man, hits him at the 30, shakes off a tackle, gets to the 35-yard line, and that's going to be enough for the Richlands 1st down.
Man, what a play. What a pass. He stands back there so poised, and he delivered that ball in between an under linebacker coverage in a zone and a man-to-man, and just a perfectly thrown ball to get that 1st down.
1st and 10 Richlands on their own 36-yard line. Again, Michaels alone in the backfield. 2 receivers near side, 2 receivers far side. Shotgun formation. Here comes the snap. Looks near side. He's got his man, a little screen pass. Not a whole lot of blocking out there, but he's going to do it all himself. Going to drag some Marion defenders to the 45-yard line. That's going to be close to the 1st down marker again. That's number 31, Zeke Vance on the reception. Give him 8 yards, 2nd down and 2.
You know, another 8 yards on a screen pass there, and that play didn't look like it had much right there at the beginning, but he got 1 block and then really just did it himself. Just took a couple Marion plays with him.
Richlands on the near hash, and they threw that ball to the near side of the field, so there wasn't a whole lot of room to work, but Vance made it happen. Michaels in the shotgun. 2nd down and 2. Here's the snap. He's going to keep it this time. We haven't seen this play a lot here in the second half, and he's going to get enough for the 1st down. Gets up to about the 49-yard line. That's where it'll be a 1st and 10 for Richlands.
Yeah, more importantly, that's going to keep running that clock there.
Yeah, running down to 2 minutes, 32 seconds remaining in the third quarter. 27-7. Richlands leads, looking to add to it here.
Yeah, that Marion defensive front, since that switch, has really played pretty good. They brought a blitz off the right side there to try to get in there, but with the quarterback doing a draw, really took the blitz out of play there.
Michael solo in the backfield, 2 receivers to both sides. There's the snap. He's going to look to his left. He's got a man open, going to throw, but way overthrown, incomplete. Good coverage out there, too, by Marion.
Pretty good coverage and a little bit of pushing and shoving from both players there. kind of saw the wide receiver push off there right when the pass was thrown, but a little bit overthrown, so really null and void on that. But Marion's still playing some decent pass defense here in the second half. They pretty much got torched in the first half.
That was number 9, Preston Shaft, out there on the coverage for Marion, so a good job defensively.
Looks like they're still in that man set on the outside right now for Marion.
Richlands will bring a man in motion this time, hand it off to him in the backfield. He gets hit, but keeps his feet churning, going to get up to about the 50-yard line. So good job by Marion to stop him. That's going to bring up a 3rd down now for the Scarlet Hurricanes.
Yeah, really in the backfield there. Had him for a loss, almost a 3-yard loss, but he kept those legs churning and actually got some positive yardage out of it, looking at a 3rd and 8 here.
3rd down and 8, right at the midfield stripe, actually just a little bit shy of the 50. Richlands, 2 receivers far side, 2 near side. Michael's in the backfield solo. There's the snap. Marion gets through the line. They're bringing pressure, but a good pass right up to the line of scrimmage by Richlands, and the runner's going to get across the 40 to the 35, down to the 30-yard line. And wow, Marion brought the all-out blitz, and Richlands exploited it.
Boy, how many times do you see a screen pass to a tight end?
He hits that Scotty Ball on the reception, number 8, and he carries the ball all the way down to the Marion 31-yard line.
Boy, Marion had no idea that was coming. They had everybody in the backfield and kind of hit the panic button when they got back there.
1st and 10, Richlands now. Michael still that same formation, 2 receivers either side. Shotgun. Marion going to cheat up a little bit, try to get back there. There's the snap. Still got all time to throw. Hits the slant pattern across the middle. That's complete to number 31, Zeke Vance. That's complete for 5 yards to the 25-yard line. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 5.
He held on to the ball there, but he took a shot when he come across the middle. Safety coming up there, number 4 for Marion. He rocked him when he caught the ball, but pretty good play to hold on to the ball right there. That was a shot.
3rd quarter clock running down to 30 seconds. They'll have to snap the ball at least one more time here. Richlands with the lead, 27-7. Michael's in the backfield solo. This time he's got 3 receivers out wide, 2 to the near side. There's the snap, going to look near side. He hits the short pass, going to get down to the 20-yard line. That was Zeke Vance on the reception again. He's going to be right at the 1st down sticks, maybe just a little bit short.
I think he's just a tad bit short, and that'll pretty much do it for this 3rd quarter here.
3rd quarter clock's going to expire. So at the end of 3, your score is Richlands 27, Marion 7. We'll be right back from Marion Senior High School for the 4th quarter.
Keep up with all the action in the Hogo.
But Marion's going to take over here on the 10-yard line, right in the red zone. That handoff to Wagner up the middle. There's a lot of Warriors in the backfield. Here comes Wagner around the edge, diving in. Touchdown!
Like us on Facebook, Hogo Game Day. Follow us on Twitter at Hogo Game Day. And check out our very own website, www.hogogameday.com.
Welcome back to Marion Senior High School, Marion, Virginia, for this 2A West playoff roundup here. We'll go to a quick Lowe's and Home Improvement scoreboard with Travis.
Down the road, 977 in Galax. Galax up at the end of the 3rd over the Rebels, 60-14. Over the mountain in Hayside up on Covington, 28-21 near the end of the 3rd over there.
So still a pretty good game over there.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely a very good game going on over there. But the Patrick Henry game's definitely gotten out of hand as it rolls down towards the end. And Richlands is about to put this game out of hand as they have picked up a first down. It's going to be 1st and goal to go now for Richlands. They are in the C&H Cattle red zone. C&H Cattle Company, Glade Spring, Virginia, where the beef begins. River Michaels in the backfield. He's got 2 running backs back there with him now. The handoff's going to go to number 6, Brandon Waldron. Going to get down to about the 4-yard line. That's where it'll be 2nd down and goal for Marion. Or, excuse me, for Richlands. Richlands leads this game 27-7, 11:23 remaining in the 4th quarter.
Richlands, this is just one of those long, drawn-out drives that they've had tonight. Took a lot of time off the clock and looking like it's going to end in some points here.
Yeah, Richlands definitely taking their time now, looking to the sidelines to get those flashcards in. They've probably got about 5 seconds left to snap it before they have another delay of game penalty, but there's the snap. There goes the handoff to Waldron. Waldron straight up the middle. Not going to get anything this time. They're going to stop him maybe after a gain of 1. That'll bring up 3rd down and goal for Richlands.
You know, this is something that we haven't brought up, but you kind of got to wonder, Marion playing that simple 1A schedule, does it hurt in an instance like this? You know, they didn't play many 2A teams all year, and they're in the Hogahegie here with us and play a lot of 1A schools, and this is a different animal.
Well, I think they played a lot of 2A schools late. They got some good competition out of Union and Abingdon right before playoffs, and I think if they can manage to keep their schedule structured that way, that'll be good for them.
Quarterback keeper that time. Michael's going to take the snap and just walk it right into the end zone for a touchdown. That's going to extend the lead for the Richlands Blue Tornado. Going to make it 33-7. 10 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. And
yeah, that just looked effortless. He got the snap there, ran to the B gap, and just kind of walked in.
They never laid a hand on him. Alex Bundy will come in now to take the extra point for Richlands. Alex Bandy.
Well, we definitely know which team won the battle of the trenches tonight.
There's the count, the snap, the hold, the kick. It's up and through and good. So your new score with 10 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter, it's Richlands 34, Marion 7. This game has really gotten out of hand as it heads. Marion hung with Richlands that first part of the 3rd quarter there. Marion made the adjustments they needed to, but Richlands just putting together a methodical drive that time to march the ball all the way down the field and extend this lead.
Well, boys, we've hit a milestone. We have had 10,000 listeners this season.
Well, we want to thank everybody who's listening to us on the Hogo Game Day Network this year. 10,000 listeners. We want to thank our buddy Travis Terry here of Hogahegie.com who got us all fixed up. And we want to thank Dylan. Dylan not with us tonight, working the sidelines for us over there at Galax. And I think he's not faring much better than we are. We see a player from Marion that's being carted off now.
I think that's Dixon. That was the
Dixon.
That was the player that got hurt on the head injury, and looks like that's pretty serious.
He was able to walk over and sit down for a while by himself, so you have to wonder if this is just really precautionary, maybe a concussion or...
Bandy to kick the ball off to Marion, be fielded at the 20-yard line, across the 25 to the 30. Going to get up to the 35, still digging, and that's where Marion will take over 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line.
Looks like we got another Hurricane player that might be shaken up a little bit.
Again, we want to thank all of our Hogahegie fans, though. We had a lot of fun this year, had a lot of good comments on our Facebook page. It gave us a lot of good stuff to talk about. We had our talk shows a couple of times this year. Those were a lot of fun. And we got myself, I think, Corey, Andy, Travis, Will. We're all going to be back next season. We'll try this again. Dylan's not going to be able to be with us, but we appreciate all the help he's put in and gotten this thing started.
Yeah, we've definitely had fun this year, and I think we've made a lot of new fans and brought a different audience. Some of these people that don't get to get out on Friday nights to get to all these games, that's what we're here for. So, we'll be looking for sponsorship next year. So if you or your business would like to sponsor the Hogahegie Network next year, just let us know, and we'll be glad to bring you on.
I think we learned a few valuable lessons this year, too, that'll hopefully make next year a little bit more of a smoother operation, but it's been fun.
Yeah, we'll work out those first-year jitters, and we'll have all the kinks taken care of, and we'll be ready when football season 2015 rolls around. Leffler in the backfield is going to hand off to Garrison. Garrison on the sweep. He's going to go nowhere.
Tried a little bit of trickery there and looked like a reverse end around on a sweep there, and didn't really amount to much. It's kind of the
actually going to lose about 4 yards on the play, so going to bring up second down on 14.
Yeah, pretty much the story of Marion's night tonight. That run game just totally non-existent. It'll be interesting to see what the stats are come Saturday morning. I'm not sure they're going to be positive on the ground.
Clock continues to roll. We're down to 9 minutes, 25 seconds remaining in the ball game. 34-7, Richlands. Leffler's going to hand off to Wagner. Wagner going to have a little bit of a hold this time, but it closes up quickly. No gain on the play. Third down and 14.
That's got to be extremely frustrating for this Marion team. They have lived by that run this year, and they've pounded some teams this year with that run game, and Wagner, the season that he's had, I think he's a two-time Hogo Player of the Week, so just a little bit frustrating, a little bit off tonight. Obviously, it starts at the line position, and Richlands' defensive line, they came to play.
Leffler in the backfield this time, fakes the handoff to Wagner, going to step back and throw. Got Garrison open, hits him at the 40. Garrison to the 45. Going to get up to about the 48-yard line. That's going to pick up a first down for Marion. First and 10.
Yeah, Garrison got through down pretty hard there at the end of that play, but good
tough
pickup
cookie
to get the first down there. That's again one of those slant patterns that kind of look like something out of the Richlands playbook.
While we're thanking folks tonight, we also want to thank a lot of the staff at the schools that we've gone to. They've been more than accommodating on helping us get set up, especially here at Marion, the folks over at Northwood, the folks at Patrick Henry, Chilhowie. We want to thank all those folks for the work they've done, the folks at George Wythe. They've all made it a real fun time for us. Leffler rolls out to his right, throws the ball. Had Garrison there just in and out of his hands, incomplete. Second down and 10 for Marion from their own 49-yard line.
Yeah, really close to being a completed pass for another first down there. Garrison really gave good effort there on the sideline, just in and out of his hands.
Marion got three receivers to the near side, one to the far side of the field. Wagner and Leffler in the backfield. There's the snap. Leffler looking to throw, tries to throw it over the middle, nobody home. He just airs that ball over top of everybody. Going to bring up a third down now for Marion.
Yeah, kind of hung that one out there, that zone coverage that Richlands has drawn back into. Pretty good coverage on every wide receiver there. It had to have been a perfect pass to get that one in there.
6 minutes, 13 seconds remaining in the ballgame. 34-7, Richlands has the lead.
Big 3rd and 10 here for Marion.
Marion would really like to get something going to hang their hat on as they head into this offseason. Team's a little senior heavy, but we expect them to come back and be pretty good next year. Leffler with the throw, gets it to the 45-yard line. That's where it'll be complete. Bring up a fourth down.
Well, that's half of what they needed, and obviously in fourth down territory here.
Pass was complete to Preston Shaft, so that gets them into Richlands territory, 4th and 5.
I think we'll see pretty much the same thing here. They're gonna have to hurry up a little bit.
Leffler back to throw, gonna scramble now. Now he's in trouble. Richlands is back there, three white jerseys. Leffler throws it up. He's got a guy there. Now that should be pass interference, and it is.
Yeah,
that one drew 2 flags.
Yeah, he was turned around, and it's kind of inadvertent, but you got to call that right there. He wasn't looking for the ball and ran into the receiver there, so that's going to get Marion a free first down and 15 yards here.
Well, we got our first final of the night for Lowe's Home Improvement Scoreboard. Galax 60, Patrick Henry 21. So, fun season for the Rebels, but they weren't able to pull it out tonight against a really good Galax team.
I think we all knew that was going to be a tough one for Patrick Henry, but man, what a great season they had this year. Getting
outstanding
to the playoffs and winning a playoff game, much less over in Clintwood.
That's a very senior heavy squad that Mark Palmer's got at Patrick Henry, but he had a lot of underclassmen that were playmakers, and they've got an opportunity to come back next year and be really good again, I think.
Yeah.
Leffler takes the snap, fakes the handoff, throws over the middle, ball's dropped, incomplete.
That ball probably should have been caught by Garrison. He had his hands on it. Good coverage by Richlands, but either way, you got to catch that ball.
Yeah, hit him square in the hands at the 25-yard line, but he could not reel it in. Second down and 10. 7:27 remaining in the ballgame. 34-7, Richlands has the lead.
Marion's really not changed their formation here in the fourth quarter. It's been that three wide receiver set to the far side of the field for us anyway, going left to right on your radio dial. One wide receiver down with a running back in the backfield.
Leffler takes the snap. Wagner stays back to block. Goes to the corner of the end zone. Oh, just a little overthrown, but good coverage again by Richlands on that play. The pass was intended for Matthew Mitchum, but he was well defended in the end zone.
You know, it was good defense, but it looked like he kind of tripped about the 5-yard line and lost his balance there. Otherwise, I think it would have been a touchdown. I think he could have caught the ball.
Give Marion credit. Still playing hard here, down 34-7. 7 minutes, 22 seconds to go in the ball game. Third down and 10. Leffler and Wagner trying to get on the same page in the backfield. Here comes the snap. Leffler's little swing pass out to Wagner and just leads him too far. Incomplete. Wagner got his hands on it. He should have caught that one too, but I don't think it was going anywhere. If he did reel it in, the defender from Richlands was there.
Almost like he's hearing footsteps out there. Richlands has just done a great job on swarming to the ball. And even when you think you're out of position right there, Richlands turns around and he was right there. But you're right, Travis. I'm pretty sure he should have caught that ball.
Fourth down and 10 now. Obviously, Marion nothing to lose, trailing 34-7. They'll go for it here from the Richlands 30-yard line. Leffler rolls out. Can't find anybody to throw it to, and he's going to be sacked all the way back on the 40. And that's where Richlands is going to take over first down and 10.
Yeah, that's really the last thing you can do there is take a sack. You got to throw it up somewhere, give a receiver a chance, especially in a situation like this. Either way, Richlands going to take over on the 40-yard line.
7:13 remaining in what has so far been a slow-moving fourth quarter clock. Of course, Marion having to go to the air, try to get back in this ball game, but nothing doing. You got to think for sure if this game, if the fate wasn't sealed yet, it definitely is so now. Marion not able to take advantage of two Richlands turnovers here in this half.
Yeah, had good field position on both of them, one off a kickoff and one off a pass completion, and didn't really capitalize when they needed to. We're obviously going to see Richlands go to the ground here. And
I think it'll be a steady dose of River Michaels, but again, Richlands going to burn a timeout before they can ever get started.
That's the third time we've seen them burn a timeout at the start or a change of possession.
We're going to take a timeout with them. 7:13 remaining in the fourth quarter. Your score, Richlands 34, Marion 7. You're listening to live coverage of the Virginia High School League 2A West playoff.
A big play here. Snaps on the handoff. He breaks loose. He's past the 50, down to about the 35, and he's knocked hard out of bounds by Riley Blevins. So that was a big-time hit by Riley.
Listen to our audio broadcast on your mobile device by downloading the Spreaker app through the Google Play Store for Android devices and on the App Store for iOS devices, and search for the Hoagie Heagie Network.
Welcome back to Marion Senior High School, Marion, Virginia, for the 2A West playoffs. Richlands has taken over the ball here on the 40-yard line.
Yeah, River Michaels takes the snap. He's going to keep it. We're going to see a steady dose of that, I think. He's going to get up to the 45-yard line. That's where it'll be second down, and we'll call it 5 for Richlands.
That clock ticks under 7 minutes here. I think we're going to see a steady dose of Richlands running the ball here and run that clock down. Going to need a few first downs to completely run it down, but the way Richlands has ran the ball tonight, I don't think that's going to be an issue.
Richlands, we would speculate more than likely would have a rematch coming up with Gate City next week. So we thought they might pull some of their starters out here, but they haven't done so yet. Michaels takes the snap. Going to hand the ball off there to Brandon Waldron. Waldron's been the workhorse all night. He's going to get it all the way into Marion territory, down to the Marion 39-yard line. That'll be another Richlands first down. It'll stop the clock while they move the chains. 6:25 remaining in the football game. Richlands 34, Marion 7.
You know, we didn't see a running back pretty much the whole first quarter and a lot of the first half, and they kind of went to that set there in the second quarter, and it stuck, and Waldron's really been the workhorse. He's got a touchdown from about 37 yards out on a run play he wasn't even touched on in the second quarter. So
Waldron is fast and strong. I mean, he's taking some hard hits, and he's a speedy little guy, the quarterback keeper here. Again, going to get about 4 or 5 yards on first down, so good carry by Michaels. Second down and 6.
Looked like from our angle there, he had a hole, but closed up pretty quickly as Marion takes a timeout here. Just under 6 minutes left in the game.
Marion going to take a timeout. I guess you might as well. You can't take them into the off season with you. It's a long time till July. You weren't with us, Corey, but we were here at the first game in Marion. Travis Terry, you were up here. Remember how warm it was that day?
I complained about how hot it was because during setup I was sweating through my clothes. So,
we long for the days.
I'm so jealous of 2 months ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And
gosh, I think our toes are frozen, and we're all pretty much shaking in our boots here, and big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're surprised. It's even cold here in the Chevrolet Silverado broadcast booth tonight. Okay, we do have a new quarterback in the game now for Richlands. Number 7, John Luke Ashbury's in. He's played quite a bit this season. He's going to come in and hand the ball off to number 31, Zeke Vance, and he's going to take it into the corner of the end zone for a touchdown.
That's another 37-yard touchdown. That's been like their key number tonight. It's the second 37-yard touchdown we've seen tonight.
Yeah, Patrick Henry's Dakota Humphrey bounced in from 37 down in Galax earlier tonight, too.
Bounced
so 37.
in from 37.
Pretty impressive. This extends the lead 40-7 for Richlands. 5:46 remaining in the fourth quarter, and I was really hoping Richlands was going to milk a little more clock for us, but that didn't happen, so oh boy. Alex Bandy on the attempt, the extra point for Richlands. High snap, there's the count, snap to hold the kick, gets up, and it is good. He's a fantastic kicker. I mean, he really boots that ball through, and he's got some nice yellow shoes on that we can see all the way up here at the Chevrolet Silverado broadcast booth, so we can pick out the kicker. That extends the lead 42-7, 5:46 remaining in the ballgame.
You know, one of the most impressive parts about this Richlands running game is how well their wide receivers block on the outside. Wide receiver giving a key block all the way down at the 10-yard line to get him into the end zone right there. So still playing pretty hard here, even with some of the backups in. Now, 31, he is a starter, so he's still in the game. So
yeah, that's Zeke Vance. He's carried the ball lots of times for him tonight. Been on the receiving end of a couple touchdowns. That's another touchdown for him, this time rushing the ball. What do you think? Richlands, we've only seen one non-Hogo team this year, and that was Union. But Richlands, by far, they lost to Union earlier in the season. But what we're seeing tonight, Union shouldn't even be able to hold a candle to them.
You know, that's really hard to believe, too. It's kind of one of those vicious circle type things.
There's the kickoff. Marion, that kick is going to go out of bounds, so that's going to be a penalty on Richlands, and Marion will get some good field position, but they've had good field position a couple times tonight, not able to do anything with it.
He praised the kicker, and
it's the yellow shoes.
We've seen probably the most complete team we've seen so far in Richlands. They've played just swarming defense. They run the ball effectively. They pass the ball effectively. I mean, really, when you think of the teams we've seen this year, this is probably the most complete team.
So here's something you don't see every day. That's a free kick out of bounds. Marion is going to make Richlands re-kick it.
From the 35 now.
I guess most of the time you take the good field position, but they're going to call for the re-kick.
And Marion thinks the only chance they have of maybe getting a score is capturing lightning in a bottle on a kick return.
Yep.
So
he might have something there.
This time it's a squib kick right down the middle. Marion can't field it. Finally picked up at the 30. Gets a little bit of running room. Going to get up to the 35-yard line, and that's where Marion will take over 1st and 10. So they would have been better off taking the penalty.
Yep.
yeah. But back to this Richlands team being the most complete team we've seen. There's definitely, it's getting a little chippy right now, but there's definitely not many weaknesses you can find anywhere, offense or defense.
And this is a situation that we saw at George Withrow Retreat last week. When some of these playoff games get to this point, it gets to that chippy stage. And if you're the Richlands coaching staff, you kind of want to pull some of your key players out because you definitely don't want a stupid move to keep them out of a playoff game next week. Because any player ejected carries a 1-game suspension, playoffs or no playoffs.
And you understand Marion's frustration. You've played this whole season. You played fantastic. You got to this point, you're 10-1, and you know your season's over in 5 more minutes. And it's really deflating. You come into this game with high hopes. There's the snap to Leffler. Leffler going to throw it up. Nobody out there. Incomplete.
And you mentioned these two teams, not quite the rivalry of Rural Retreat and George Withrow, but they do have history. They did share a district for several years, and actually when Marion exited the Southwest to come to the Hoagie-Higgy, there was some off-the-cuff remark that Richlands coach said Marion was running away from Richlands and that they could run, but they'd find them again in the playoffs. So that probably spurs some motivation of a little bit of a rivalry ignited just through coaches' comments like that.
Right. And if we do see in the future that Marion plays some 2A teams at the end of the schedule, you would think Richlands may be stuck on that schedule somewhere.
It'd be great.
Fourth quarter clock rolls down to 5:14 now. 41-7. Richlands has the lead over the Marion Scarlet Hurricanes. 3rd down, and we'll call it 8 upcoming for Marion.
It'd be nice to have some hurricane-type weather.
It would feel pretty warm right now. Leffler's going to roll out, going to throw. Nobody there, just throws the ball away. Deep into the Richlands bench, and they're going to get him more intentional grounding that time, and I'll agree. That was just kind of a frustrating throw it into the stands and see what happens.
That is not where you want to get an intentional grounding penalty. He is about 15 to 19 yards off of the line of scrimmage there.
Leffler's arguing his case, but, I mean, he threw it into the grandstand.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see what kind of argument he's got.
Yeah, you can't really say that there's anybody in the vicinity when you're throwing it 15 yards out of bounds. And like I said, this penalty.
That's crucial. It's loss of down also, so it brings up 4th down. So this will be a 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. 4th and 35. And they're going to go for it. Now they're going to punt it. Okay, good.
Oh, wow.
Sheesh.
Halfback draw.
Yeah, when you're down 41-7 and you're on your own 15-yard line, 4th and 35, you can't go for it.
It looks like Richlands doesn't trust them.
Timeout.
No, they don't. They're set up in a prevent back there.
And it's almost like Marion saw that they knew what was coming and called the timeout to audible out of it.
So 4 minutes and 53 seconds in what is a continually cold night here. This is the game that will never end. But the Hoagie-Higgy, they got one more shot. We got George Withrow and Auburn coming up. George Withrow an opportunity to keep the Hogo season alive. We'll lose Marion tonight as well as Patrick Henry game. That one has gone a final. But a very successful year after losing all our teams in the first round last season. To come up and advance 3 teams to the second round this year, I think that was pretty good.
Yeah, definitely good. Love to see that. And I haven't looked ahead. I mean, I don't want to look ahead, but who would George Withrow get if they were to beat Auburn? Are they Galax bound or?
No, they would be getting. Hold on, I've got the bracket right here.
Maybe Hayside.
My hands are so cold.
Richlands. We talking about George Wythe, or we talking about Richlands?
We're talking about George Wythe.
George Wythe would have Honaker in the next round.
Really?
Depending on what Honaker does tonight.
Right.
Honaker and Radford play. Is that tonight or tomorrow?
I think that one's
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they would get the winner of that one.
Yeah, Richlands is going to take on the winner of Buckingham Gate City. Pretty sure Gate City, well, you never know what can happen, but, Gate City certainly the favorite in that football game.
After a 70-0 win over Graham last week. I know Graham's not the Graham of lore, but what a whipping that was.
Yeah, the George Wythe Auburn winner will take on the winner of Radford Honaker.
Well, if you're George Wythe, you got to like how your bracket pans out. You got Rural Retreat, a team you'd already beaten, Auburn, a team not known for its playoff prowess. A lot of those kids haven't been there before. George Wythe has, and then I think Honaker, as good of a season they've had, they're probably a beatable team for George Wythe, provided Skeens and some other athletes are available.
Let's remember who's running the clock.
PG.
PG's running the clock.
I was never a fan of PG in high school. I watched him call a field goal good while he was looking at the ground.
He saw the reflection in the grass, man.
Oh, we give him a hard time. He's a long-time Virginia High School League referee. He's done a great job. Lots of years of service. He was calling games way back when I was in school, and then I actually refereed some basketball games with him. He's a good guy. Officials are hard to find, and so these guys sometimes we give them a rough way to go and re-critique some of the stuff they do and think we could do a little bit better. But trust me, it's a tough job, and these games couldn't go on if these guys weren't willing to do it.
Yeah, what a tough job it really is. I mean, we see one more for the playoffs. We see a 4-man crew for the playoffs, but most of the season we see 3-man crews, and 3-man crews don't see everything.
Richlands takes the snap. There's the handoff, inside handoff. He was hit in the backfield, but he's going to carry the ball all the way up for another Richlands first down. Going to get to the 40-yard line into Marion territory. 1st and 10, Richlands.
That may be a future bright spot there. That's number 24.
Dylan Elswick. Elswick is a senior. 5'11", 175 pounds. But we're also seeing carrying the ball now some is Matthew Harris, number 4. He's a sophomore. So, some future there for Richlands. Quarterback in the game now for Richlands, John Luke Asbury. 2-back set. There's the snap, pass snap. Going to hand it off. Play's not going to go anywhere. Going to be back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 10. 3 minutes to go in this never-ending fourth quarter. 41-7, Richlands has the lead.
It seems this quarter's just drug on forever. I don't know if it's because we're freezing cold or if we've got some clock mismanagement.
Marion didn't do us any favors by staying in the locker room an extra 4 or 5 minutes, too.
That's
so
true.
That's added to the frostbite I'm experiencing.
That's true.
Yeah, I think I'll be lucky if 3 toes survive frostbite tonight. But it's warming up here in the Chevrolet Silverado press box tonight. There's the handoff again to number 24. Nothing doing. He's going to lose a yard on that. It's going to bring up 3rd down, and we'll call it 11. Clock rolls down to 2 minutes now. 41-7. Richlands with the lead. This may or may not be our last Hogo game broadcast of the season, depending on what shakes out in that George Wythe game. If things shake out and George Wythe would host a game in the next round, it's possible that we could be a part of that. If not, just again, we want to thank everybody for listening to us. All 10,000 of you. Our Facebook page got almost 1,200 likes this season, so that was pretty exciting. Be sure you follow us on through basketball season. Be sure you follow Travis Terry on HoagieHeagie.com. He'll keep you informed with all the information as we move on through basketball. That play goes nowhere. Going to bring up a 4th down for Richlands. Surely they'll go for it just to run the clock out. 1 minute, 30 seconds to go in the game. 41-7, Richlands with the lead.
Do we have any other score updates?
We do. Same score over in Hayside, 28-21, late 4th quarter.
Okay. So that one's a pretty close one. I kind of had Hayside doing a little bit better against Covington than that.
Covington hanging right in there, trying to pull the on-the-road upset 2 weeks in a row.
Well, if it wasn't like the Oregon Trail to get over to Haysa, we could have made it over there and checked that game out. That's probably the game of Southwest Virginia tonight.
Probably.
Richlands will go for it. They'll throw it. That'll stop the clock and give the ball back to Marion. 56.7 seconds left. Thanks, Richlands.
For throwing the ball. Awesome. And now it's a guarantee Marion's going to throw the ball 4 times.
41-7, 56.7 seconds left. First and 10 for the Scarlet Hurricanes.
Yeah, but getting back to it, we've had an awesome season. I mean, we've been a lot of great places. We've seen a lot of good games.
We had our production meeting Wednesday night. It brought a tear to Andy's eye. And now the scoreboard has officially gone out. Oh, now it's back on. Now it's back on. Okay, here we go.
PG was ready to shut it down.
He said, let's take it to the house.
Take it to the house. Yeah, our last production of the meeting, well, possibly our last production meeting of the year, but not sure Honaker's going to lose to Radford, but I guess we'll just have to see.
Wagner finally getting a big run, going to get across the 40, down to the 35, the 30. That's where he's going to be wrestled out of bounds at the 25-yard line. That'll stop the clock. 45.9 seconds left, 41-7. Wow. Richlands has the lead, so Wagner finally getting some positive yardage tonight.
Yeah, and that's got to be tough for him to only get positive yardage maybe against this JV squad that Richlands has out right now. It's been a tough night for him on the ground. It's been a tough night all around for Marion. Marion's not really played well on either side of the ball.
But what a season Wagner's had, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he had that tough off season with his father, and he came out, wore his dad's number, wore it proud, and had quite a Hogo campaign. I mean, every week you expected 200-plus yards and a few touchdowns for him. So hats off to him and really the rest of the Marion team.
Marion's going to take a timeout here. Wagner carries again, gets down to the 11-yard line, almost just shy of a first down. We'll call it second and about 1.
Not quite sure on the timeout right there. You're down 41-7, 35 seconds left. That'd pretty much do it.
Well, 24 seconds. Let's take it to the house. Stadium filling out, even the Richlands side starting to filter out as they begin the long trip back home over to Tazewell County.
Andy's just ready to go, boys.
I tell. Starts unplugging it.
Andy's packing us up. He's already shutting down the Chevy Silverado broadcast booth here tonight. Chevrolet, the official vehicle of the Hogo Network.
Should turn the booth on and stand in the exhaust to get warm.
Yeah. Oh, the booth is on.
There we go.
The booth is on. Yeah.
I'm over here near the rear tire. I'm not getting any booth.
Hand off again to Wagner's got some room out on the edge. Going to get down to the 10, to the 5, into the end zone, touchdown. Sam Wagner gets into the end zone. 41-13, 26 seconds. The clock never did start. So no time. That was a free play. No time ran off the clock. You can see the Tazewell coaches out there wondering how come the clock's not running.
I'm just not sure on that one.
Wagner's just that fast. He closed in on 20 yards in less than a split second.
There were no cuts. He just ran straight in.
So they're going to go for 2 here. Leffler takes the snap. Going to follow Wagner on the lead block. Going to get into the corner of the end zone. Yep, he got it. 2-point conversion is good. 41-15, 26 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter.
Had a hold there on the right side, but I guess when you're this far into it, you can't really be calling holding penalties. So hopefully Richlands comes out here after the onside kick attempt that we know is coming. They'll down the ball.
Well, here's the thing. If the clock never starts, 26 seconds left to go, down 41-15, are you really out of it?
I mean,
you got a chance.
You really could. Attaboy, PG.
It's not over until PG says so.
I thought it was over when he shut the scoreboard down at 57 seconds left, but obviously not.
Andy was right there with him. Andy started unplugging cables. He was backing us up.
Andy says, to heck with this. I wonder if Richlands calls a timeout on the kickoff again.
I think
we
they're
shall
out.
Find out.
Are they out?
I think they called 2 on 2 previous kickoffs and then 1 a change of possession.
That's right.
But
well, Richlands receiving the kickoff, so they wouldn't call a timeout here. They just always call it when they're kicking it.
That's true.
But yeah, the scoreboard shows they have 2 timeouts remaining, doesn't it?
I don't know what to think about that scoreboard anymore, though.
Yeah, that can't be trusted.
Oh my. Well, the only people that remain over on the Richlands side of the field is the band.
No
And
band
only
for the home
folks-
team tonight, though.
I did notice that. That was kind of odd.
Marion does have a smaller band than you'd think.
And they wear those weird colored uniforms. They wear Richland colored uniforms.
Oh, yeah, this is interesting.
So Richlands is going to down the kick at the 10-yard line. This will be their worst starting field position of the night.
It's only going to get worse, hopefully. Take a knee.
Wow. A lot of clock run off there.
Yeah, that kickoff took 10 seconds.
Little makeup time
He
from
downed
PG.
the ball. So this will pretty much do it.
Yeah, 1 snap will get Richlands out of here. So we'll
Get
head
us
back
out of
across
here.
head back across the mountain to Tazewell County. Victory formation. With only 9 men on the field. Now I think they've only got 10.
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 11.
Okay, they got one out there, so
That'll do it.
So congratulations to the Richlands Blue Tornado. They're going to move on the 2A West Virginia High School League State Playoffs. Again, congratulations to the Marion Scarlet Hurricane. They're your 2014 Hoagie Hickey District